I'm Tom Dacey alongside Ed McCarver. Hello, Edward.
Hello, Tommy. How are you? Good to be back here once again as we start another year, another trip around the sun for this 2017 season.
23 years. Can you believe it?
I can't. We were just saying before, that's longer than my marriage to Maureen. It was longer than my first marriage. Probably longer than my third marriage, the way things are going here.
And of course, we are coming to you live from the home of Talking with Tom, American Steamed Cheeseburgers here at 92 Quinnipiac Street here in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Yep, the only place to go for American Steamed Cheeseburgers. And we have a studio audience. Let's hear a studio audience. Very nice.
Once again, our
23 years, it comes out to, let's see, 3 people a year.
And of course, our gracious host, once again, Mr. Tom Schapper.
Yep, let's hear it for...
So this evening we're going to take a little trip down memory lane of this past year.
2016 was, well, I guess by all accounts, not a dull year. A few things we were discussing before we went on the air, and a few other things going on. But the past 12 months were interesting, to say the least. And as you say, we're going to stroll down memory lane with a few of our guests and kind of reminisce about the year that was.
Well, as you know, our first show of 2016 was in February, back at our old stomping grounds of WPAA Cable 18 here in Wallingford. And I heard a little comment from the peanut gallery back there.
It's a rowdy crowd we had.
But before we actually bring on our first guest, I just want to make a little announcement. Some people might have saw my Facebook post, but the new year didn't start out too good for me. I woke up on New Year's Eve day to a broken cell phone.
I did see that.
And the screen was completely blank, and I could not turn the phone on or off. And the worst thing about it is I was hearing notifications from Facebook, people were calling me, I couldn't access the phone at all. And on my Sprint account, I have Total Protection, and I pay $11 a month for the protection. I called up, and they tell me, oh, well, in order for us to release a new phone, a replacement phone, we have to charge a $200 deductible. And I was coming down here to Tom to use his phone so I could call them. And I was arguing with them for 2 days straight, and they're like, well, it's just like if you have a car and you get in an accident, you still have to pay a deductible. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Why am I carrying this coverage? So I want to publicly thank a good friend of ours who was just here, Mr. Tom Kaneshi. I understand he took up a collection on Facebook to help cover the cost that I had to put out for the new phone. And I want to thank Tom publicly and everybody that donated towards the cost of the phone, because that kind of put me in a bad spot, because it kind of left me short this month, but I needed the phone for the podcast, so I was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I want to thank everybody that donated to the cause.
Well, you're welcome. I saw that post, and you have a lot of friends. And the thing that you do for this town, with all the good work you do, it's probably the least that you do. And kudos to Tom Kaneshi and everybody. I'm just glad you didn't have a Samsung phone and it exploded out there, something like that.
Actually, this is a Samsung.
Oh, is it? All right.
It's a Galaxy 5.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm glad it didn't explode here. It could have been a worse story than what you're talking about.
But without any further ado, please welcome our first guest. People will know him from his days at WPAA, and he is now on internet podcast as well, the host of the Top Rope Report. Please welcome Mr. Trivia.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ed. Congratulations, guys, on
Might want to
your...
pull that a little closer.
Congratulations, that's what she said. Congratulations on your 23 years, and, you know, like Tom said, you know, the good thing is, you know, you can, and even Ed said, you can go back and you can look at all the memories that, you know, we've had. This Sunday we had our 160th show on Talk Show, and you guys are on your 23rd year and hopefully another 23 more. You might have to, you know, turn the hearing aids up for Ed for 23 more years, but
You'll have to prop me up.
you never know. So, but after 23 years, man, what's been going on?
Not much. We want to talk to you briefly about your show, the Top Rope Report.
Okay. Yeah, that's
How's that going?
good, real good. So every Sunday, 10 a.m., TalkShoe.com, 1640, PWPR, Pro Wrestling Podcast Radio. Like I said, we're going into our 161st show this Sunday. 10 o'clock. We're going to be doing the show live from M&J Video Games and Collectibles at 1049 Queen Street in Southington. Johnny Cage is a sponsor, and he's been great for us with the show. He's gotten me many guests, and last week we had Typhoon on the show. As most people are unaware of, he's ill. He's in the hospital right now.
And I do remember Typhoon from the 80s.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers are going out to Typhoon. I understand that him and Earthquake, rest his soul, the natural disasters, will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year, class of 2017. So definitely wishing him a speedy recovery. I've had the likes of Coco Beware, Gangrel, you know, the list goes on. And, you know, there's a lot of these shows out there. You know, there's mine, you know, there's yours, there's this podcast you're doing, there's the Center Ring, there's another show out of North Haven, it's called The Squared Circle.
Squared Circle is in the house tonight as well.
With John Zimmerman, Hollywood J. Williams, Dan Hoff. Dangerous Dan Hoff. They're in, I believe it's NHTV still, right?
Yes.
In North Haven.
Under the direction of Mr. Walter Mann.
Right, so you get a chance.
I got my start from.
So you get a chance to check that show out. They're very informative, great bunch of guys over there. They know their stuff, and it's definitely a good show.
And now, you actually started out with another good friend of ours, Mike Cuomo,
Yes.
on a show called PWI.
Yes, People with Intelligence.
Yes,
Yep.
we often said. And I remember you used to do that out of the old TCI
Right.
in Branford.
Well, you see, somebody had said to me one day, how did I get the name Mr. Trivia? And I said, well, we had a trivia contest one night on the PWI show. And I called in and I said to Mike and another good friend of ours, Thaddeus Bob, I said, I'll give you guys a two-part trivia question. If you can answer the question correctly, I'll never call with another question again. But if you don't answer the question correctly, I get to come on your show and do a trivia hour. And they said, sure, no problem. So I called them up and I said, here's the question, it's a two-parter. And back then, at the time, what was the largest crowd that ever attended a WrestleMania? And at that time, it was WrestleMania 3, Andre Hogan, 93,178 people. I said to Mike, I said, you're right. Now the second part of the question, name them. He goes, well, there was Aunt Tilly, Uncle Leo, we'll see you next week. And that's how it became.
That's a classic story.
So,
Now, we had you on back in studio at WPA last February.
yes.
Then a few days after we had you on the show, you were gracious enough to come to Lenny's and be a part of our Super Bowl show at Lenny's. And if I remember correctly, Mr. Trivia was the only one that predicted the winner of the Super Bowl.
He was the only one. It was the Denver Broncos against the Carolina Panthers. Everybody had Panther fever. I think the Panthers were, it may have been a double-digit favorite in the game. They all thought that Cam Newton and the rest of the Panthers were too tough. But I remember Mr. Trivia was the only one when we had our predictions. And I think even the people in the house, Lenny, I think had picked Carolina.
Well, I was going to pat myself on the back, but that's only 20 inches away from kicking the ass.
But yeah, we always give you credit, because I remember later on that night thinking, you know what, Mr. Trivia nailed it.
And of course, we're knee-deep in the playoffs right now. What is your prediction for a Super Bowl matchup?
Well, let's see. Cleveland Browns are out of the question, so
They were out preseason.
I would like to see the Falcons and the Steelers, only because I really can't stand Tom Brady,
Yes!
and I don't like the Packers because they beat my Cowboys. But, which by the way, I'd have to say was probably one of the best playoff games I've seen in a long time.
Considering the way the playoffs have gone so far, that was easily the most entertaining game I've ever seen.
And of course, I'm very upset about your Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
I
well,
really thought they were gonna.
You know, even with the Packers, you know, you can't take it away from Aaron Rodgers, but even the sun shines on a dog's ass some days.
But, you know, I gotta say though, those were both good games this past weekend.
They were. And a good thing Pittsburgh
I
got a
was
field
just
goal
gonna say,
kicker.
good thing Pittsburgh got
They
a
would have never
field goal
scored.
kicker.
But then again, it was also 7 degrees in Kansas City either. It was 7 degrees there.
Yeah, they actually had that ice storm. The game was originally supposed to be played at, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I
Archie
thought.
back,
Was
yeah.
it supposed to be the 1 o'clock?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
they pushed it up
yeah.
because of the ice and bad weather conditions.
But-
I wanted to ask you, Mr. Trivia, of the 4 quarterbacks remaining, Roethlisberger, Brady, Rodgers, and Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons, who do you think is the most talented quarterback of them?
Well, I would say, I really can't go with Brady only because he's, Patriots are in the AFC. That's like watching the National League in baseball. 2 totally different leagues. AFC, NFC, American League, National League, 2 totally different leagues. But I'd have to say, I like Matt Ryan. And one of the reasons I like Matt Ryan is the Atlanta Falcons were the highest scoring offense in football this year. And I tell people, don't sleep on Matt Ryan. He's a great quarterback, so was Aaron Rodgers. They won 8 in a row. I was surprised that they actually did as well as they did without Jordy Nelson. But, Roethlisberger's been there. Everybody's been there. All 4 of those teams have been to the Super Bowl at least once. And I just like Matt Ryan. I just think that I think Atlanta's gonna, do what they can to.
Yeah, we are broadcasting from Connecticut, and we normally don't get to see much of the Atlanta Falcons unless you have the Dish or the pay-per-view network or something like that. So this playoff game that we saw last week against the Seattle Seahawks, at least for me, was the first time I really saw Matt Ryan this year. And God, they were awesome.
He's something.
I wanna mention that, February 5th, we will be doing our Super Bowl show once again. And unfortunately, Mr. McCarver will be out of town. So the illustrious Mr. Trivia of the Top Rope Report will be co-hosting with me, along with his co-host, the Nuxter Greg. And the location is not set in stone yet.
Yeah, but I just want to let you know, it's going to be February 5th, so it's going to be colder than the Well Digger's ass here, and he's going to be in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay? So when he calls up sipping the pina coladas by the beach there in his lawn chair with his wife, and we're going to be sitting there going,
Can we do
Well,
a giant kiss my ass Ed when he's closing?
Well, I'm not actually taking my wife. I said it was a pleasure trip. I'm going.
So the location is not set yet. Trivia and I are going to do a dry run up at Lenny's to make sure that the Wi-Fi is going to work.
Oh, okay.
And if we run into a problem, the show will be relocated here to American Steam.
Okay.
Now, for those of us listening on the East Coast, the kickoff for the Super Bowl is 6:30 Eastern time. What time of day will you gentlemen be on the air? Will it be right before kickoff?
Probably 4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 to 6
4 to 6.
Eastern.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, 4 to 6, and well, getting back to the Super Bowl from last year, I think one of the reasons why I was the only one that picked the winner was, to me, I think Scam Newton is so overrated, and you could not have written a better picture with Peyton Manning in his last year, his last game.
Oh, it's a Hollywood story.
What
Yeah,
a better way
yeah.
to go out. You got all these giant fans out there that are talking Eli this, Eli that, Eli this. No matter how many Super Bowls Eli Manning wins, he'll never be the quarterback his brother was. Never.
I remember the argument I always
I mean,
hear.
you've got the guy that quarterbacked the Vikings this year. What was his name? Sam Bradford. Was it Bradford? He took, what's his name's place?
Well, when Bridgewater got hurt, they
Bridgewater.
got Sam. Teddy
Yeah,
Bridgewater
Bradford
got
came
hurt.
in.
And then,
Yeah. Well, they got him from the Eagles.
Yes.
He's not a bad quarterback. But Peterson went down. They started out 5 in a row. They basically didn't have very much to work with. but they damn near, you know,
They had a nice run, yeah,
Yeah.
September, October, I think, they were the team to beat, and all of a sudden the Vikings.
I only said that
Very
because
nice
if I didn't mention the Vikings, the guys back here would beat the shit out of
Speaking of the guys back there, I know they got a run shortly because they have the squared circle
me. It'd be a lot easier
at
to,
7
it'd be
p.m.
a lot easier to drive.
on NHTV. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring the Zimmermans up.
No, come right ahead.
I want to thank you, Mr. Trivia.
All right, very good.
That's for me, I'll call him back.
Have a seat, Mr. Ruckus.
Mr. Ruckus, to you, sir.
Zach, how are you, buddy?
Yes.
Well, do you wanna come up?
How's everything going? Good. Good.
At this time, I'm joined by Mr. John Zimmerman and his son Jacob of the Square Circle.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And also, running a camera, and he's worked with us in the past.
Expert cameraman
Dylan.
Dean's List,
Yes, yes, congratulations,
Congratulations.
UNH,
University of New Haven,
Dean's
yes.
List, good for you.
He's
Good
got
for you.
nearly a full ride, so saved me a lot of dough ring me. Very nice, thank you very
You
much.
should be very proud.
Thank you very much. University of New Haven, thank you.
I want to thank you for taking time out this evening to come join us for a little bit before you go to the Squared Circle.
You're quite welcome. And I was here earlier for your telephone saga, and I remember having to run back and forth to the Sprint.
Yes.
I had a sprint over the Sprint, Mr. Dacey that
That's the
day.
last thing you're gonna do is sprint.
Oh, what a nightmare that was.
But, you know, going over the past year, recently we got Jacob into Andrew Calandrelli's Ultimate MMA, and it couldn't have been a finer transition. He's doing a hell of a job over there. Andrew, and of course the New England Golden Gloves boxing champion, Marissa, I will not butcher her last name, but Marissa's over there at Ultimate MMA. And for all your jiu-jitsu, MMA, boxing, any type of martial arts and striking needs, Ultimate MMA, CT.com.
Which kind of leads me to my next question. Now, I know you cover the independent wrestling scene
Yep.
with the Squared Circle. With the influx now of MMA and UFC, which is kind of a recent phenomenon, is that kind of siphoning off the talent that might normally go into independent wrestling?
You know, I'm not sure about the talent, but I know the fans are, you know, the money and the fans have definitely dropped off with the WWE with the, you know, influx of the UFC and in part Bellator as well. And, you know, their live events are always UFC style, and the Bellator live events are always sold out, and the attendance for WWE has definitely dropped off.
And excuse me, John, I think we have a call. I thought I heard somebody did say hello here.
You do have a call, and he is the second most enthusiastic Jets fan in the world.
Well, let me just say welcome. Can you hear us okay? Or?
I can hear you okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can very well. Well, we want to thank you for calling. And normally, it would pop up on the screen,
Yeah, it didn't pop
but
up.
it didn't
I
pop up.
understand.
But do you want to give your first name or?
I am known in this area as the professor from the sports circle.
Ah,
the
Yes,
professor.
we know
Oh,
it.
okay.
Good evening, Bill. How are you?
That-
You know, Tom, I wasn't going to call.
That's why it didn't come up.
Again, I am Dolphins. But then I remembered they're not going to the Super Bowl either, so I figured I might as well call in.
Well, they're certainly better than Mr. McCarver's Jets, though. Come on.
Well, they were this year, but
The North Haven football team is better than the Jets.
it's a tough crowd.
you know, we know a few boys on the North Haven football team, so.
I've been a Jets fan for the better part of 41 years.
You have my sympathy, sir.
Well, Bill, I know you're a little younger than I am, but were you around for Namath?
I was around for Namath. I think I was probably, maybe 2 or 3 years old, maybe 4.
Oh, all right, okay.
And that was my first football jersey my uncle gave So yeah, I've been the Jets fan for years, but hey, I'm excited to give it a call in. I was trying to get there to the show, Tom, but unfortunately I'm in the middle of some work business that'll pull me away tomorrow, and I think some sleep just before I got work. But I'm excited to call in.
Well, we do appreciate your call, and we know that you're kind of a semi-regular on the Squared Circle, seen on NHTV at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the Squared Circle, 7 to 8 p.m. on Channel 18, NHTV.
And on YouTube, the Squared Circle.
Oh, YouTube, okay, YouTube as well.
And who puts that on YouTube?
That's Mr. Tom Dacey.
And you have who, Tom, obviously, there, and McCarver, and who else is back there?
We have our host, Mr. Tom Shapper from American Steamed Cheeseburgers. My buddy John Bukowski is in the audience.
Pee-wee.
Mr. Trivia from the Top Rope Report.
Wow, and I think you got like a star-setting cast there.
Well, it's the anniversary show, and we always like to pull out the big guns for our anniversary show.
23 years, Tom. Well, we need to get running. But
I'll tell you what, Tom, it was great to see you at the PAPW event on Saturday, which if you guys didn't get a chance to see or get to go to the show, I can speak. I think I'll speak for Tom a little bit. We were all checking to make sure we still had teeth after that vicious ladder match.
Oh.
Just outstanding. I mean, I took Tylenol when I got home.
That was amazing.
Bill, where can you find the footage of that card?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Where can you find that HD footage of PAPW from last weekend?
I believe it's only on the Squared Circle.
Hashtag bet your life.
that's all right. Hey,
Do you want to try?
yeah. Did you happen to see our coverage of ESPN's XFL Hall of Fame in New York?
Yes, I guess I did.
What's that?
I looked at, I spoke to a young mister here, the boys there, Dylan and Jacob.
Yep.
And they said it was interesting, and it was a quick walk through, and after I asked them how much it cost, they said it was free. I said, hey, there's nothing wrong with free, but yeah, it was an interesting time, the fans been involved in so many different things, but I think between that and the bodybuilding, wrestling thing he did, that almost put him in the poorhouse, and I think around that time you saw the blow up of WCW, because I think fans have gotten, as far as the raw product, they had gotten a little bit stale. So but no, I enjoyed watching that. It was interesting. It was a nice piece of history, and if I get to New York, hopefully I can see that.
Well, it was a one day only, so you missed your opportunity on that one.
But it was
Oh, geez.
It was great seeing you Saturday as well, Bill, and I want to thank my chauffeur for the evening, Mr. Dylan Zimmerman.
On behalf of him, it's a pleasure, Tom. And anything we can do to help Tom out, we're always there. We're right around the corner from him now in the great town of North Haven, and we're more than happy to be there.
Because we all know that if I went with Hollywood Jay, I probably wouldn't have got there till halfway through the card.
There we go. But
You'd be lucky if you got there at all. And maybe, Tom, you can tell the story on the air of Jay, Hollywood Jay, injury.
Should I share that story on the air? Okay, I'll share that story right now.
all right, let me run, and then
Thanks,
you can tell the
gentlemen.
story.
I'm excited, guys. Tom, nice job, guys. Great to get on the show here, and I'll log this number in, and hopefully I'll get maybe down there to a show or a call in again. But you guys have a great night. Be safe, and take care.
Thanks,
All
Bill.
right, Bill, thank you, Bill.
Bye-bye. We arrived at the event Saturday night at 5:30. I text Hollywood Jay to let him know that we were there because he had the camera. He texts me back and says, I just cut myself shaving, plus the snow. I should be there by 6:30. So now I'm thinking, okay, he cut himself. I'm expecting to see his face halfway cut up when he walked in the door. He walks in a little after 6:30, got a little nick on his chin. I'm like,
Not that there's anything wrong with that,
but,
a little nick on his chin. How
but,
did Nick feel about that?
yeah. I don't know. But that's our Hollywood J story for the evening.
Right, thank you.
I had an opportunity to meet Bill at the, and actually his wife, at the Christopher Martin's road race, along with Hollywood J and Dangerous Dan.
Yeah,
this
yes,
past
I
December
understand.
11th.
How did he do in that race? I understand he did pretty good, no?
Yeah, he did very well. Bill's, and I know he's, not shy to talk about it, reluctant to talk, not reluctant, but he's an accomplished road runner. He's been on the roads. Not that it's any accomplishment to kick my butt, but he kicked my ass. But it was good to see him, and also got a chance to meet his wife, who's an excellent runner, on a road run. So it was a nice day.
Now, one of the next shows that we did back at WPA was with a good friend of ours, Eric Herbst of Dizzy Fish.
Yes, an accomplished musician. We had seen Eric a few years earlier with Dizzy
You and I
Fish.
first met him when we did an event for Concerts with Causes. Where was it? Up in Hartford?
Up in Hartford, yeah. I remember we took the trek up 91 to Hartford. It was in the summertime. I remember that. So, and yeah, we saw Eric and his band at the time, an accomplished musician, an accomplished performer. I remember one memory I had about that. That they had in the lobby, is kind of a warm-up before the concert. They had some junior high school kids. I think they were from...
Ray Negative, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yes.
But they were doing like Jimi Hendrix and the Doors and all, these artists these kids weren't even born yet when these artists were performing. And I thought they had nailed a couple of Hendrix.
And actually, you and I were actually on stage that night in Hartford.
Yeah, it was a concert for Concerts with Causes, and we were asked to come up and speak a few words, which I thought was nice. It was fun.
It was
fun.
very nice. And, it was kind of funny because my nephew Ryan got married last January 31st.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I did not know it until I walked into the reception, but Eric was playing at the reception.
Oh, what a small world.
And so we got talking that day at the wedding, and that's how I hooked back up with him for the show for March.
Very cool.
I told him, I said, why don't you come in the studio, we'll do another show together. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. And I remember that was a good show. Of course, he is an accomplished musician. He did play for us, but also we had a chance to talk about different philosophies and things like that. He was a good guy.
Maybe down the road we can have him do an acoustic here at American Steamed.
Eric Unplugged would be okay for me.
Here on the new version of Talking with Tom. And
as a matter of fact, why don't I give a plug for the new Talking with Tom here on TalkShoe. If you want to join us, as Bill did earlier, you can give us a call at 724-444-7444, ID number 141480, and you can do what Bill did earlier and call and take part. This is our 23rd anniversary show. We're kind of strolling down memory lane.
I do want to mention that prior to going on the air, I did get a couple of messages on Facebook.
Oh, okay,
I
very
want to
good.
mention my sister Kathy Sudrasny sent a message telling me congratulations and keep reaching for the stars.
Nice.
My sister Mary sent a message as well saying congratulations and for me to keep doing what I love.
Good.
And the next show that we did was a good friend of you and I, our good friend Mary Ellen Eccles
Oh, yeah, Mary Ellen Kingsland Eccles, yeah.
from the Wallingford Community
Wallingford
Theater.
Community Theater. If I have time.
Go ahead.
So I had known Mary Ellen at the time, Kingsland, about 20, or maybe almost 30 years ago, back in our college days. And then we kind of lost touch, in those days you didn't have Facebook or, as Bill Belichick says, InstaChat or Snapface or anything like that. So did you hear that press conference?
Yes.
But, so I got involved with her, a friend of mine who happened to be working at Stop and Shop, who does a little theater on his own, Michael, had asked me, he says, have you ever done any acting? And of course, 2 years ago, we had the Standardized Patient Show, so I still do that as a acting patient at Quinnipiac University.
Well, you're good as a stiff anyway.
Yes, that'll be fine. So anyways, he said that, well, the local theater is doing Happy Days and they need an Arnold. And I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. So I went into to audition that night, and of course, who was there but Mary Ellen Eccles? And that was 2 years ago, and I did Arnold, loved every second of it. Loved her, loved the cast. It's just a nice organization. Came back last year to do Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where I was Grandpa Joe.
And who suggested that part for you?
Yes, I think it was you. And the boys in makeup loved it, because I didn't need much makeup to be Grandpa Joe. And because of it, if I may announce
Go ahead.
that I just
Make the official
I
announcement.
just auditioned for my third role as part of Mary Ellen's Repertory Theater. So we're doing Lend Me a Tenor, and I did get the part of Tito Morelli, who's
And
an
that-
Italian opera
And
singer.
that's going to take place at the Library Bistro,
It will be at the Library Bistro. Last year they did Brighton Beach Memoirs.
which you were also in.
Well, no, I actually wasn't
Oh.
in that, but
Okay.
but we had Mary Ellen on
yeah, you
to
were.
talk about
Yeah,
the
that's
show.
right.
But it's on April 7th, 8th, and 9th, Thursday,
I-
Friday, and Saturday.
I have
The
to
Vegas.
say that was one heck of a show at Brighton Beach
Brighton
Memoir.
Beach Memoirs was awesome.
Because she did say on the show that it wasn't for all audiences.
Yeah, it's not children's theater, because they had some, if you're familiar
Yeah.
with Neil Simon's Brighton Beach Memoirs, there's some, adult content involved. And the young man who played the lead, Justin Velez, was just awesome in it. And yeah, there was some stuff that you wouldn't want the children to. Drew's 32, and I wouldn't want Drew to be here.
I do have to say that you were phenomenal this year. I just loved your performance this year.
Thank you.
In Willy Wonka.
I had so much fun, and I owe it all to Mary Ellen. And Mary Ellen had a great line. We were in rehearsals for Happy Days. She says, it's a nice, tight theater group, everybody gets along, and she made a point of saying, with our theater group, all the drama is on the stage, nowhere else.
What
There's
a
no,
what a great comment.
Yeah. She's a great lady, and yeah, that was a fun show we did, and thank you for. I had so much fun with Grandpa
Outstanding.
Joe.
I
My
just-
wife Maureen is so sick of me singing "I've Got a Golden Ticket." So, thank you, it was fun.
So when can we look forward to?
It will be the first week in April, April 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now I just got the part. We're doing a read-through tomorrow night, and then we start rehearsal next week.
And again, that'll be at the Library Bistro.
At the library, yep, Joe Gabea's Library Wine Bar and Bistro. So,
And
yeah.
see now, so I won't make the same mistake again. It's actually in the back.
Yes.
Because last year, I actually went up into the bar area. And I
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I was like, I'm here for the play. And they're like, oh, I think you gotta go back downstairs and go around the back.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
we'll publicize it more
Yeah.
this year. So, yeah, but they do it's the old children's library, but they put a makeshift stage on there. Like they did last year.
I thought it was well done last year. I really enjoyed it. I was glad I was able to get to it.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem, is I don't have transportation to get to the other ones that she is, so,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, and it's repertory theater, which is different than, there's no singing per se, and there's only 8 people in the cast. That's why I was surprised I made the cut. But it's, with Willy Wonka and with Happy Days, I mean, we had a million little Oompa Loompas running around for Willy Wonka. And,
Yeah, that was a big cast for Willy
Yeah,
Wonka, it
yeah.
seemed. How many people were in that cast?
I think it was 84.
Wow.
We actually had more, I think we had 100 for Happy Days.
Really?
We had 84 for Wanda. But it was fun.
Really? Amazing.
That
Once
was a good show.
again,
Mr. Trivia is still with us here. You didn't see any of those plays? Or,
No.
are you a fan of Happy Days
Oh,
or
yes,
Willy Wonka?
big fan of Happy Days, yes. Willy Wonka, not so much, but Happy Days, very big fan.
Good.
our final show at WPAA featured a local musician who is no stranger to us, and people that go to celebrate Wallingford probably see him quite a bit around town, and that was Don Giella.
Don Giello, they call him Mish. His nickname, you know, I have a nickname Goober.
Yeah.
His nickname is Mish, and very talented young man. Used to have a band, I think it was called the River Band back in the old days. And I know a long time ago. The only reason I remember this, he published it on Facebook. He used to be with the Tommy Dorsey Blues Band
Oh, wow.
back in the 60s and 70s. And Don is a very talented artist. You're right, he does open up Celebrate Wallingford. He has for the past 2 years. I think 11 o'clock on Saturday morning is usually Don G's spot at the stage uptown for Celebrate Wallingford. I know he also was played at, in the summertime, he plays outside at Traditions Golf Course at the restaurant. So, yeah, Don is a good guy.
I first hooked up with Don when Rich Figluski had the dry dock over there.
Yep, I know Don's been involved with the dry dock, and I think when Rich had his festival. His
Yes,
blues festival,
yes, that's where I
Don
first
threw
hooked
that.
up with Don, and we became good friends, and as you say, the rest is history. But that was our final show, and I remember joking with him at night, and I think he did play it for us. I was joking with him because he had done it once before with I had heard it at Dry Dock, actually, he performed it. His song, Get Your Mind Out of the Gutter.
Yes, I do.
I will, if anybody gets a chance, go to my YouTube page and watch that show. that song is hysterical.
Yeah. Did he write that?
Yes.
He did write that. I thought he did. Yes, very funny.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, excuse me, I want to interject from here for a minute. You guys have mentioned something some time ago that you were talking about certain things. I want to get your opinion on something that I read on Facebook a while back that's been all over social media. Is this autistic gentleman
Who was
that was
attacked?
attacked? I don't know if you heard anything about it. The autistic gentleman that was attacked by those 5
Yeah,
or
and they
6.
cut his hair and,
Oh,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago.
yep.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and they Facebook Live it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I-
you know, the thing that bothers me is I have a friend, a very good friend, a close personal friend, who's sitting across the table from me. He's in a wheelchair. God help him. If it does anything to him, or anything that happens to him. Same thing with senior citizens. Who the hell do these people think they are? You want to jump on somebody like the immortal words of the great American said, Ric Flair. Remember, Tommy?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to jump on the wagon than it is to jump off.
the wagon, yep.
This gentleman across the table from me has done so much for the town of Wallingford, the town of North Haven. He's a great friend, an even better human being. And God help somebody if something ever happened to him. He told me a couple weeks ago that he was going across the street and he got hit by a car. What was my first reaction? Well, he's talking to me, so nothing bad happened to him. But I mean, come on, people. You can't see a man in a wheelchair with a flag. Helen Keller could see that flag.
Yeah. And that, I mean, in that story you talked about it, and I think because of social media now, everybody's taking everything. You've seen these.
Right. But these people, where do they come off on preying on the weak? 4, 5, 6 of them.
We can do another show just on that.
I just wanted to make that point, and I just wanted to say, Tom, thank you very much
Thank
for all
Mr.
you do.
Trivia.
for being a friend, for all you do.
Well,
as a barber.
I've gone on record as saying Tom's only handicap is he's a Red Sox fan.
No. His only handicap is he's a Dolphin fan.
We'll throw that in too.
You know, I owe Mr. Trivia because it's because of him that I started this podcast.
Well, I remember talk show. I remember I first heard Mr.
We're gonna get you on 1640 eventually.
But
That's the podcast radio show. We'll get you on that eventually.
But again, Mr. Trivia, I want to thank you, and at this time I want to
Thank you for having me.
bring up another guest to say a few words. But first of all, I want to say before I bring her up that one of the best things that happened to me the last couple of months is I have a new girlfriend.
Oh.
And I'd like to officially welcome her and bring her up. Please welcome Carmen Lugo.
Well, my first question, Carmen, is what's wrong with you? This is your boyfriend?
Bring it closer. Wait, you're with this white guy?
Yes, it is.
No, we're only kidding. We
And
love
I
Tom.
love him very much. He's very kind and generous.
How did, Matt,
I admire him.
Yeah.
how did you two meet?
We live the same place.
We're neighbors.
We
Okay.
are neighbor, and about 3 years ago, I know he likes me, but I rejected him because he was very young. Well, and then later on, we decided to,
Is Tom
put
shy?
something in my life.
Is
Yeah,
Tom
he
shy?
is.
He is very
Yeah,
shy.
he is.
so.
Yeah, right.
Not around here.
Yeah, right.
But one of the things that I do, that I like about him is that he likes to help people, and he's very generous and very educated, and I'm hearing a lot of things, and I'm very happy to be with him.
And she's a good cook.
All right.
Keeping me well
I
fed.
want to introduce you to Maureen,
Who's that?
my wife.
Oh
His
yeah.
better half.
She makes a mean toast.
I was gonna say, why Maureen can't cook?
What's that?
Maureen can't cook, takes her an hour to make minute rice.
Yeah.
Wait,
Well, I cook Spanish
and she watches wrestling with me.
And they're,
Oh,
what they
yes.
have in
I
common
like
most
that.
is he loves the wrestler and she loves the most.
Yes.
Who's that?
I like
Now,
Who?
Wait for this.
her boyfriend's John Cena, and what do I say? John Cena sucks. Wait.
But you haven't had anything yet until you have coquito.
Well,
Gotta have that.
That's right, you got
I've had it.
You
I've
got
had it. I've had it.
You gotta have
Yeah, but I'm
pasteles.
gonna make some more.
But wait,
And you keep
Pasteles?
talking, I'm not gonna give you no
coquitos.
more.
I have to tell the funny story though. Because as you know, Mr. Trivia, there's a big match on tonight on SmackDown.
There is?
Steel cage
Oh,
match
yeah.
with my girl, Becky Lynch, the Irish lass kicker.
You see?
I can listen
I
to
could have
her.
seen that, but it didn't happen.
So what did I say to her last week? I said, I'd like to be in a steel cage with her. and she turned around and said, good, so kick your ass. And my response was, I'll let her. And he
You
commented on it.
old romantic, you.
Well, she's kind of my favorite as well. I can listen to her talk all day, Becky Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
And but you know, I've been involved in as well as anybody else, Tom and Ed. I've been involved in the wrestling business since I was 11 years old. There hasn't been anything or anyone I haven't seen in the business, but I'm kind of glad that they're getting. The women are women wrestlers now. They're not divas. They're not eye candy.
They're athletes.
Women wrestlers now. Yeah, they're superstars.
I love that.
WWE superstars.
I love karate, I love folk. And
You love
I
what?
sport karate.
Bless you.
And that's when somebody.
How about boxing?
Boxing?
You like
Oh, yeah. Last night I was watching boxing.
Who's your favorite? As a matter of fact, I'm wearing my favorite fighter. This is I don't know if you've reached
Let me see what I'm wearing. Oh.
Canelo Alvarez. Do you know Saul Canelo Alvarez?
No, I got Carlitos and a couple of guys, and wrestling, and sport.
John Cena sucks.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna get in a cage with him.
I'm gonna get it. Cage for him.
Well, unfortunately, Tom, we all know in the business, he will be the new WWE champion at the Royal Rumble.
Tommy don't want to hear that.
Reason being is they want him to tie Ric Flair's record of 16 world championships, and then they're gonna get him set up for the match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Well, and once again, the Royal Rumble is on the 29th of this month.
Same day as the Pro Bowl.
And now, Mr. Trivia, that means your Mr. Trivia,
Yeah.
that means your prediction show on Talk Shoe will be when?
Thursday, the Thursday before, which would be the 26th?
26th.
Yeah, 26th. Okay.
And who is normally heard with predictions on your prediction show?
The Nuggy, Little Nuggy, and some guy we call the Thunderous One.
And that would be yours truly.
Yep.
I heard
But
that.
I don't think you've won a prediction show yet, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Two months ago.
Oh,
remember?
that's right, 2
Yeah.
months ago you won the prediction show.
Yeah.
Okay, don't, I
And
told you even the
you
sun
told me I'm
shines.
not allowed to.
I told you even the sun shines in a dog's ass some days.
You told me I'm not allowed to be on there anymore. You.
Dami, you're always welcome on my show, you know that. But one of these days we're gonna have Ed call up, get his predictions as well. 'Cause we had,
I've listened a couple of times. but-
we've had Tugboat
I
on.
him to call up, you keep making predictions that the Jets are gonna win, and they don't.
Well, they got a decent schedule next year. They got Platt, Maloney, Southington High School, and Sheehan Thanksgiving
Now
Day.
that Sheehan got rid of Zach Davis. maybe
Boy
they-
Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Wallingford Vikings, you know, all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
He's still waiting for a Super Bowl.
Again,
A
Mr.
couple of
Trivia,
pies,
thank you.
maybe?
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. I'll be hanging around listening to the rest of the show.
Carmen, do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, I said that I admire what you're doing, and I love you very much. And I wish I could have a lot of time with you, but you know, my personal business about taking care of my mom and things like that. And I give you a hug.
I want to thank you for coming down and joining us.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you,
you guys, thank you. I really appreciate
Did we get the peanut gallery up here now?
I would love to, if we can pull him away from his iPhone.
Who's that, Johnny Zach?
Checking out Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Come on, get your butt up here, John Zach. Join us for the anniversary show.